Hey guys, I'm just making a clarifying update video. I got a lot of emails, a lot of people reaching out after my last video about me deciding to kind of walk away from my connection because I felt like it was unhealthy. I guess I felt like maybe there needed to be some more clarifiers to everything that's going on, and kind of some of my own personal beliefs towards the entire twin flame journey, and that sort of the collective of what this is. Number one, I think this is really important for people to understand. I think that there's always going to be a point in any twin flame connection that if union is to occur, there has to be the passing of the torch, so to speak. This means the runner becoming the chaser becoming the runner, so on. In order for the journey to really take place and carry the switch between the divine masculine, divine feminine roles and energies, and this is something that is about coming into balance. So think of it like this, like in an energy scales, where one person may be like 60% divine feminine, one person 60% divine masculine, and vice versa, 40% of the counterpart. So, in order for balance to typically occur, what happens is that people overshoot the balancing of this act. So, instead of going from 60 to 50-50, they go from 60% divine feminine to 60% divine masculine, and vice versa, and then have to kind of back into it. This is the runner chaser dynamic, yin yang balancing out through it. So really what I'm doing is kind of just leaving the torch available for her to pick up. If she decides to pursue this and go through the pathways and go through the healing process and growth, and decides that she wants to ultimately figure out how to make this a healthy connection and how to establish the boundaries and respect that I keep stating that I need in order for this relationship to occur. Because if my needs aren't being met, I'm never going to be happy in this relationship either, which is kind of where she's at in her own karmic situation. Her needs aren't being met. So both of us have to come to a place where we are capable and willing to address our own needs and then have them be met. Without that occurring, it's just going to be more of the same kind of unhealthy cycle that I've been currently experiencing. So I guess what I'm really saying when I'm walking away or giving up or pursuing other options, it is more or less just saying like, hey, dude, you're either gonna do the work or you're not. I'm not waiting. I'm not necessarily holding a space. I mean, it. That's not quite right. Um, there's a lot of faith in God here, to be totally real with you. So many times in my own pathway, pursuing her and chasing her, I thought the door was closed permanently, and that there's just no hope, no light, nothing that was going to be able to bring us back together. And I think part of this journey is that she needs to be able to also see that even when things feel like there are absolutely no way, no possibility, that if she puts in the work, puts in the effort, God will make a way for it to happen. I'm not going to deny God in the attempts of everything that transpires. I mean, that's not my best interest whatsoever, for my journey or whatever, But I think there's a duality switch that's about to occur here, because there's been a lot of missed opportunities, missed chances, missed occurrences that could have played out differently had um, both of us been willing to put in the work. I don't want to make this sound like it's all on her, because a lot of this, it is 50-50. It takes two to tango. It was a combined effort. We both made mistakes. We both didn't handle things totally appropriately or in our best interest. Impulsively, we both were in understanding of the things that needed to happen, and they just kind of didn't. do I think that one person's more to blame than the other? Um, I reached out after everything and still haven't gotten any sort of a response back. So, you know, maybe she needs more time to recover, heal, process, whatever. Sure, absolutely. And that's totally up to her to do that and go through that. But with every action, there's always going to be equal and opposite reactions. Cause and effect. And again, this comes down to me understanding in my own journey that if I just constantly forgive and constantly be understanding and accepting of the bullshit, really, and it is bullshit. Um, I'm gonna get more of it, and I'm not gonna have my needs met. And a lot of it has been fear to say, hey, this is what I truly want, because I've feared causing separations when I do get her back. And ultimately, I wouldn't have ever been happy with how things continue to play out between the two of us. Um, if I can't have this level of balance between the two of us. If there's no balance between the two of us, we're kind of dead in the water anyways. And there's no reason for either of us to pursue this connection until we can have that level of balance, because then it's only going to create and continue this vicious cycle of makeup, breakup, makeup, breakup. Hey, when you're not around, I go back to my karmic, and then once I miss you, I come back to you, and that's the cycle that has to end, because it's not healthy. It's simply put not healthy. It's not doing anyone any favors. It's not helping her karmic leave this codependent situation. It's only breeding in more codependency towards her. It's causing more anxiety and stress and problems between us. So all around, the cycle that I'm currently in, the only way for me to really break it is by me walking away completely from it, and just throwing my hands up and saying, hey, dude, you figure it out, Like, it's your situation to deal with. I'm done dealing with a karmic in our relationship. If this is something that you truly want, it's time to walk completely away from that and go that direction, because I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I have gone through the processes. I'm going through the healing. The healing is never going to stop. The growth is never going to stop. That is my realization. It's not that I am good enough, and I stop. No, it's that I've realized that I'm good enough because I keep going. So the realization is not that, do I need more healing? Yeah, everybody does. Life is going to be a constant thing of learning how to heal yourself, how to grow, and how to achieve your highest self. And it's continuous levels of ascension through spirituality. So the realization that I've come to is just, until this other person, can get on board with what this truly is. It's a spiritual journey. It's a spiritual pathway. We're here to heal and help people, and that she wants to follow her higher calling and really trust in God. There's nothing more that I can do for her or do with her, or even should be held back by everything that's going on in our situation. I'm spending too much mental energy and time, focus, everything, trying to hold on to a connection that is kind of one-sided in the amount of energy, effort, and time being put in. Until that gets met on an equal level, there's really no more reason for me to continue to pursue her, or even reward the idea of her just being able to come back and come willy-nilly, because that's only what makes it easier for her to go back and forth, have her cake and eat it too. When there all of a sudden starts to be, things that you have to hold yourself accountable for, and realize that if you do this, you're going to get this kind of effect from it. It's the same reason that people don't just go out and rob banks, to be totally real with you. I think if most people knew that they could just go, steal money, and be totally fine, and have no consequences for it. I'm not saying everybody, but I think we'd have a lot more bank robberies, if you want me to be totally real. So the cause and effect and the accountability, the responsibility of nurturing and taking care of your own relationships, and learning that personal growth inside yourself, is really something that I think we both need to learn. Not just her. I don't want to make it sound like I'm throwing her under the bus, because obviously duality, and we mirror each other. So this is something on both of our ends. I'm just choosing to try and go through what I think is the appropriate and correct healing process for the both of us. For at least me personally, anyways. Whether or not she sees it the same, that's totally up to her, and how she wants to view this connection. Um, she's got free will. She can do whatever she decides, or feels comfortable with. But a lot of the situation, and my understanding to the situation, is that she continues to act out in fear of kind of the unknown, and continues to pick what is known or feels, quote, safe, despite it being something that really has no future progression. And self-admittedly, she's picking not to live in her highest self and highest timeline, for security, or safety, even though, if you put it on a very real picture of everything that's transpired, and if she really were to break it down into all the circumstances that had transpired, and said, wait a second, there's so much drama and conflict in my own personal relationship with my karmic. Look at all the actions that I've taken here, and really owned everything, and viewed it from an entire perspective of saying, like, there's no way this can realistically go on forever. And is it even anything that I want? And until she comes to that realization, and is willing to act on it, not just knows it, but acts on it, because actions are always going to be more important than just knowing in your head, right? It's not knowing and believing, it's knowing, believing, and then acting. So until she does that, me holding a space, me unconditionally forgiving her, we both need to go through more growth, personally, and I think my growth, honestly, will come through seeing other people, and maybe I need to just appreciate, what it is completely that I had with her, by adding the contrast of what maybe somebody else doesn't bring to the table. I can visit previous relationships that I've been in, and some of them have been much less emotionally fulfilling. Honestly, all of them have been much less emotionally, fulfilling, because the connection has never been as strong with her, or with them, as it is with her. However, that doesn't mean that my other relationships weren't healthy in comparison to how our relationship is currently. Now, do I think that that can totally change? Absolutely, 100%. Me and her are both capable of a ton of growth, and we have grown a ton over the last year in our own journeys of meeting each other, and who we were when we first met each other to who we are now are totally different people. Obviously, we still have the same, outer shell and growth and sense of humor and stuff like that. But there just has been a ton of growth that has occurred, and that gives me a lot of hope and faith that, what's meant to be will be, whether that's, next month, 2 months from now, 6 years from now, whatever. Whether that means that we get married to other people, have kids, and then come back to each other in the future, or don't, and we just maintain some sort of, fifth dimensional connection. I'm just really over the idea of trying to establish a three-dimensional connection with this person, and have it, you know, last forever or anything like that until I see something further from her that shows me that's a healthy option for me. Because if it's not healthy for me, then there's no way it's ever going to be healthy for her. So, really, I think there's just some lessons in duality that I hope that she takes the time to learn. I think a lot of this has been self-focused on both of our parts of what do I need, you know, what do I need to change in this other person, and instead, you know, bringing to the table of like, well, what can I change in myself that will make this a healthier situation for the other. And the sad part to me is that we were kind of getting to that point where we were having open and honest conversations about what we could change, and what was causing triggers and things like that. And we were going through that process, and things kind of just fell apart. And instead of us, you know, instead of her continuing, I mean, because like I really did try to keep the train going, so I can't say instead of us. But instead of her really deciding just to go through the battle of it all and face the scariness of change and everything like that, she fell back into old habits and has continued to see her karmic again. And, you know, this isn't like the first or second time that this has happened. This is like the 7th or 8th time that this has happened. So I'm in a cycle, and I recognize that I'm in a cycle. And with that being said, you know, there's only so many things that I can do to break that cycle without her help, and this is one of them. I hope this makes a lot more understanding and a lot more sense, because I feel like I did get some kind of like people questioning my motives. I got a lot of like, I don't know, I had like 10 people unsubscribe to my channel, and I know that's not like that much. It's like a handful of people, honestly. But I did take it kind of personally a little bit, because I felt like it was a video that I didn't need to share, or I didn't have to share anyways. Yet I chose to share it out of honesty and transparency, because I think that's important, especially if you're going to be listening to somebody that is giving you readings and everything like that. I think that, you know, knowing that they're going to be honest with you and not just bullshit you and be like, yeah, everything's great, you know, is kind of important. What it is. So I guess this is just a clarifying video to my own situation, because the other one was kind of brief, and, you know, I don't expect everybody to watch this all the way through. But the other important part I think to understand is that the twin flames are here for a reason. And if my twin is choosing not to follow her reason, or purpose or soul contract at the current moment, and doesn't want to push forward, and is choosing just to have free will, while I still continue to do the journey from my own perspective, I can speak from personal experience, in my own life, that when I've chosen to go out on limbs like that and act on my own free will, typically there's consequences that come in from the universe and the redirect and guide. So, you know, everybody eventually hits that breaking point where they go like, well, what the fuck is going on in my life? And it, you know, it pushes them back to where they're supposed to be. And you know, I'm just gonna have faith in my own life experiences that's gone on, are going on, or gonna go on, or whatever. And really, this is a way for me to give up control and give up like, hey, this has to happen now or whenever. It's just saying, hey, if it's meant to be, it will be. God will make a way, and if it's not, God's gonna provide something else for me, and I'm gonna be just fine. So, you know, who knows? What if by, you know, 3 months from now, I realize that she's actually a false twin because I met my real twin, and as much as I don't think that's the case, and I'm pretty sure that she's absolutely my twin, you know, God loves to throw me curveballs. He loves to, you didn't see that one coming. So, I'm gonna close this video out here. I guess if you guys wanted to see it or needed further stuff here, then now you have it. You know, thanks for all you guys' support. I do appreciate it. Again, I'm catching up on readings right now, so if you do book like a recorded reading, it's probably gonna be a few days after when you get whenever you book that. So I'm trying to get caught up. Much love, guys. Take it easy.